Alright, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and I just want to quickly start by saying thank you for all of the support. The subscriber count has been ticking up slowly but surely, so I appreciate that. So has the Twitter followers, and couple of people have reached out to me to say that they like the content and they're enjoying the content and the videos are helpful. So thank you to all of those people that supported the channel. So what's going on today? Well, we've got some weird stuff going on. I just want to show you a couple of things and then sort of point at them and encourage you to say, what's that about? So, to start with this, the fuel prices in Ireland are fluctuating by about 20 cents, depending on where you go throughout the country, according to this. Fuel prices have gone up all over the world because of inflation, because of central banks printing money, and of course, what they've really tried to do is blame it on this thing here, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This is what they've tried to blame it on. But really, if you know money and you know the central banks and you have a bit of a deeper understanding on this, then you'll know that this is just a farce. And really, this is all to do with just inflation, okay? So, why am I bringing this up? They're essentially saying that this classifies as a wartime emergency for fuel and that they need to seek government intervention here. Okay. At the same time, you have things like this. The government plans to reinstate work from home, okay, in order to save fuel in the event of a crisis due to this Ukraine thing. So the first point I want to make here is they are sort of implying, I think they're testing the waters to see if they can get people to work from home in the name of saving fuel and saving money on fuel. So I'd like to start by pointing at this and just asking you, what do you think? Is this nothing, or are they seemingly planning for more lockdowns? Are they testing the waters to see if they can get away with more lockdowns? At the same time, Event 201, if you know about this, you know. If not, a quick summary. Event 201 was conducted by some people in a health security in partnership with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and his wife at the time Foundation, right? It was a high-level exercise, as you can see here. Okay, it was a simulation essentially to see how the world would cope and how prepared it would be if something was to break out and spread around the world. And they did this on the 18th of October 2019. So if you're watching this video, you know what happened very shortly after this. Okay, something, by coincidence or not, just happened to break out, spread around the world, and of course we all went through that. So where am I going with this? Well, this November 21, as you can see, was another similar type thing to Event 201. So in November 21, they carried out another one of these sort of simulations, strengthening global systems to prevent and respond to high consequence biological threats. Where am I going with this? Well, if you scroll down to page 12 of this, okay, and if you want to find this and read it for yourself, NTI paper, just search that, it will come up. There's this timeline here, and it says that May 15th, they're going to launch this attack. There's going to be this attack launched, right? Look at what it says here. Something outbreak, right? The chimp spots, what I'm going to call this for the sake of I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this word, right? But chimp spots outbreak on May 15th. And then having a look around, this chimp spots outbreak, right? Look at this. Look at the date. Since the 13th of May 2022, the cases of those spots have been reported to the WHO from 12 member states, blah, 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 blah. So, doesn't the date, is this the same thing? Are we seeing the same thing over and over again? Then, of course, what happened on the 19th of May? The US government orders a whole bunch of those things that they like to sell in response to these outbreaks. Okay, so this is facts. There's no speculation here at this point, and so I'd like to pause and just say, what do you think? Am I reading too much into this? I don't know. Let's keep going. At the same time, very recently, yesterday, scientists are debating the best strategy to do with these medicines that they use in response to these outbreaks. Okay, so let's have a quick recap. The media is blaming this Ukraine and Russia thing, right? And suggesting that perhaps we ought to all work from home and stay in our houses and undergo some sort of lockdown. The very people that have a history of running an event that just so happens to set up an actual real life event, they run another one of these sort of simulations, and it just so happens to predict this very thing that's broken out recently right around the same date. Okay, that's curious to me. That's all I'm saying. And then, of course, the government are playing their same tricks. The companies that are responsible for making these things are playing the same tricks, apparently, and discussing what the next step should be for this strategy. Now, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it isn't. Okay, so let's pause again here, and I'll just ask you: Is this something to be alarmed at? Do you think there's a problem here? Am I going crazy? Or is this a bit weird? I think this is a bit weird. That's just my opinion. Let me know if you think different. Let's dive into this document a little bit deeper. I'd encourage you to go and read this for yourself, so I'm only going to show you this timeline. We go down to move 2, January the 10th, next year, 2023. Look at this scenario, okay? 83 countries affected, 70 million cases, 1.3 million deaths. They say that the chimp spots is engineered to be medicine resistant? Okay, it's starting to get a bit weird now, right? National response, effective early action, international supply chain challenges. International supply chain challenges. So, aren't we already experiencing that? Hasn't this already been talked about over and over again in the news? Hasn't supply chain been... I mean, I made a video on this about, I think it was called The Coming Food Catastrophe, about how the supply chains are all breaking down off the back of the invasion. All of these things seem to at least be affecting each other, if not directly linked. And I would speculate that they probably are directly linked, okay? Then on May 10th of next year, this is saying we could expect 480 million cases, 27 million dead. And they're saying that the revelation of a terror group origins, an infiltration of a civilian biolab, okay? Now why is that important? Well, whether you believe it or not, the Wuhan lab, right, has been linked to the first outbreak, right? Now, I don't know if that's where it came from. I'm not going to pretend to know. How can you find out in today's age, really? With the amount of censorship and everything else, how can anyone really know for sure? But there's seemingly some evidence to say that it did come out of Wuhan. And at the same time, whilst there are plenty of pieces of news saying that no, the chimp spots has nothing to do with Wuhan, there are plenty of theories and articles and people pointing to this to say it absolutely did. So whether it did or not, how would I know, right? I can only Google things and get the same censored information that everyone else gets. But what we can say is this document that seemed to predict the first outbreak last month in May is calling for some sort of biolab thing to come to light by May of next year. At the same time as people are already speculating that Wuhan had something to do with this. Now, I'm not speculating, I don't know. I'll be clear about that, I do not know. But one thing we can say for sure is this document was invented in November, and now here we are, okay? So the big question for me is, do we get medicine-resistant chimp spots come out in January of 2023? It's certainly going to be something that if we do see, I'm going to be quite alarmed about, because when you scroll down, it says the end of next year, we could expect 3.2 billion cases, 271 million dead. This is quite alarming, isn't it? So let's hope and pray that this was just a coincidence. Let's hope and pray that this was a coincidence, just like Event 201 was probably a coincidence, right? But the big question for me, since this is a finance channel, I know I do a lot of reset stuff as well, but since this is a finance channel, do we make that final high right into the end of this year, just after the elections, only for this timeline to play out and for us to undergo finally the Great Depression and the big recession that everyone has been in fear of for the entirety of this year? So I'll just leave you to think about this. It seems like, to me, that they do want lockdowns, and they just haven't figured out how they're going to do it yet. It also seems to me that they're going to continue to blame all of this central bank mistakes on anything but the central banks. They're going to keep blaming the cost of living increase and the supply shortages and the increase in fuel costs and so on and so forth. They're going to keep blaming all this stuff on the invasion and anything really, apart from the fact that they print money and expand the M2 supply, right? So it also seems to me they're going to continue to use the same chaos from the C19 era, the last couple of years, and use that as a template potentially for what is to come over the next 12 to 18 months. So I'd like to ask you now, what do you think? Coincidence? Am I reading too much into this? Will January 2023 produce a big outbreak, as noted in the simulation documents? Nobody knows, but I'm starting to become quite concerned based on what I've seen. If you disagree with this, if you do agree with this, please do throw it down in the comments. I say that not to farm comments, but like for my own sanity. You know, do you like this content? Should I go back to just trading charts? You let me know. If so, will this be the final catalyst that sends the stock market into the Great Depression 2.0? I mean, we saw what happened with the first outbreak. Markets got destroyed, but then the printers came on and propped everything back up. But could this potentially be the catalyst? Or again, are we getting too ahead of ourselves? So if you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel, drop a like on it. Please do throw down in the comments, let me know what you think. Are you concerned about this? Do you think there's reason to be concerned about this? Do you want me to keep an eye on it? Do you want me to report back if I find anything? Let me know. In the meantime, I sincerely wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. I don't have much to say about the charts today, so for anyone looking for a trading update, please go back and watch yesterday's video, or the last 5-10 minutes of yesterday's video. I will post an update tomorrow on the trades and the markets and all the charts. So if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed and turn the notifications on. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best. Take care. Cheers.